Hi everybody, it's Deedee here from stampinwithdeedee.com. This has been a super busy week in the world of Stampin' Up, hasn't it? The internet is all abuzz with chatter about the upcoming new annual catalog, the color revamp, the retiring list, and I know that many of you have questions about these things. So I just want to put this little video together for you to try to answer some of those questions. We have a lot to cover, so let's get started. So first things first, the 2018 Stampin' Up! Retirement list is out. It came out this week, and you can find it on my blog at stampinwithdeedee.com. For those of you who've never been through a Stampin' Up! Retirement, this is a listing of all the products from the current annual and occasions catalog that will be discontinued when the new annual catalog comes out. The new catalog comes out on June 1st, 2018, so the last day to order anything from the retiring list is May 31st. If you haven't seen the list yet, again, you can find it on my website. But let me warn you, this year's list is huge and includes some items that might surprise you, like, say, all of the current ink pads and re-inkers. Now, before you panic, let me just reassure you, Stampin' Up! Is not doing away with its exclusive line of inks, but they have made some pretty big changes to it. I am super excited about the changes, and I think you're gonna love them too. So to start, Stampin' Up! Has totally revamped the core colors. And here is the new color chart. As you can see, some of the colors we know and love are going away, but we're also gaining some really fun, fresh new colors to play with. Plus, Stampin' Up! Is bringing back a few past favorite in colors that many of us begged for. Now you can see that the color families have been totally reorganized. For example, Whisper White, Very Vanilla, and Basic Black are no longer on this chart, and they're not part of the Neutrals family anymore, but they will still be available since they are stamping staples. Other colors have just jumped families because they work better together that way. This way, if you only have one color family to work with, you can still be sure to get a lot of really great combos out of it. Now this is just a peek at the new color collections, and not a great one since it is a printout from my computer, but you'll be able to see them better in the new upcoming catalog. Let's just go through some of the color changes though so that you know what to expect. First, in the Neutrals family, we're gaining Merry Merlot, which is a really pretty wine color. We're also getting a nice new warm gray called Gray Granite. This is a little darker than Smoky Slate, but lighter than the basic gray, and a really nice addition to the family of gray, which will give us some more flexibility in stamping with those. Mossy Meadow is coming back as a neutral, which will be great for stamping plants especially, and the Night of Navy is also moving over to join the Neutrals family. In the Brights family, we first have this gorgeous grape, which is one of a couple new purples that Stampin' Up! Has added. Next up is Coastal Cabana, which is coming out of retirement, and I know many of you requested that, so this is really exciting. We're also getting the lovely new Granny Apple Green and Mango Melody, and Fleur de Flamingo is skipping retirement entirely and joining the Brights color family. Finally, Poppy Parade is coming back, which is another one that I know many of you have been wanting. Now over in the Subtles family, we're getting another pretty purple called Highland Heather, plus the new Balmy Blue, which is a great basic light blue color. The ever-popular Mint Macaron is also coming back, and then we're gaining this lovely soft sea foam and this pretty petal pink color in the Subtles family. Finally, in the Regals family, the much-loved Blackberry Bliss is coming back, and then we're gaining this beautiful new shaded spruce. So that's the new core color line, which will be available starting June 1st in the new annual catalog. Isn't it awesome? I'm really excited about some of these changes. Even though I'm sad to see some of my old standbys go away, I'm really looking forward to playing with these new colors. Now this color revamp explains why some of the inks and re-inkers are on the retiring list, but what about the others? Well, the answer is that Stampin' Up! Decided to redesign the ink pads and re-inkers too. Apparently the molds that are used to manufacture ink pads can only be used for a certain amount of time. And since the ones for the original ink pad style had worn out, Stampin' Up! Decided to take advantage of that and make a few changes that many of you have requested over the years. So now let me show you exactly what those changes are. Here I've got the old olive ink pad so that we can compare it to the new one. First off, there's a slight size change. The new ink pads are square, where the old ones were rectangular. They're about the same width, but if you stack them up next to each other, you'll see that the new ones are a little bit shorter than the old ones were. This does mean that the new pads won't store securely in the color caddy, which is why that's also on the retiring list. Although you can definitely still use it if you have it, you'll just want to turn the rack a little bit more slowly to keep the new pads from sliding out. The logo on the front of the new ink pads also looks a little bit different than the old one does. That's really just a cosmetic change, but it is noticeable. A bigger change is visible on the bottom of each ink pad style. The older style has this lip that runs around the edge on the bottom that helps keep them in the color caddy. The new ink pads don't have this lip, but what they do have is these little pegs on the bottom that coordinate with little holes on the top of each ink pad. These make it really easy to stack these up to store together. Now my favorite change is the way these new ink pads open. With the old style, you had to push on the front, push the ink pad back, flip it over, slide it in, lock it into place. With the new ones, you just put your thumb in the groove on the front, pop the ink pad open, flip it back, and then slide it into place. The way the old style ink pads open has always been a big frustration for me. I find these new ones a lot easier to open, and I think you will too. Now, did you notice that little color strip along the top edge of the new style ink pad? That's another of my favorite changes. That's one of the stickers that comes now on the bottom of the ink pad when you first open it up, and you can just lay it in that little well that helps you see what color you're working with when the ink pad is open. So another big change is that the foam pad on the new ink pads does not rise as high above the base as on the old style ink pads. You probably can't see this very well on camera, but trust me, there is a noticeable difference. So far, I'm finding two big benefits of this. First, when I'm using my big ink pads with a Stamparatus, I don't get as much ink on my clear plates. Also, when I'm inking up my stamps in general, I don't get as much ink in places where I don't want it. So this is a pretty cool new feature. Now the last big change has to do with the ink itself. On the old style pads, we would sometimes get a bubbling effect when we re-inked the pads, and especially with the lighter colors. In the new style of ink pad, there is none of that. They've added a defoaming agent to the pads so that we no longer get that effect. Now this creates an issue with the re-inkers, and that's why those are on the retiring list. You'll want to use your old style re-inkers, preferably with your old style pads, and the new re-inkers which have the defoaming agent in the new style pads. Now Stampin' Up! Has said that you can interchange them. Just be aware that only the new re-inkers have that defoaming agent. So another item on this year's retiring list that I know has many of you puzzled is the Many Marvelous Markers set. I want to let you know that this will be available. However, they are reworking this. They're going to pull out all the colors that have retired and put in the new ones and the returning ones in the new catalog, and then change out the insert in order to match the new set. So again, you can continue to use this kit if you have it. You'll just want to pick up the new colors and take out the old colors like Stampin' Up! Will be doing. So this is really just a matter of them reworking the product a little bit, but it will be available. Now speaking of new colors, I've got a little sneak peek for you today, the new in colors that will be in the new catalog. First up, we have Blueberry Bushel, which is a really nice primary shade of blue. Then we've got Call Me Clover, another wonderful primary color. Pineapple Punch, which is a little bit lighter than our Daffodil Delight, so that they work well for shading together. We have this beautiful new rosy red called Lovely Lipstick that I think you're going to have a lot of fun with. And then my personal favorite, Grapefruit Grove. So what do you think? Are you excited by these new in colors? I'm really excited about them. I love all the clear, bright colors, and that new Grapefruit Grove is so pretty. I see a lot of sneak peek projects coming in the next few weeks. Now you'll be able to get your hands on these starting June 1st in the new annual catalog, but again, I'll be sneak peeking them with some other fun new products from the catalog, so make sure you check back. Until then, happy stamping!